What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nasha. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. This week's episode is going to be very intriguing because as we move closer and closer and closer to New Year's Evil, which is going to be NXT's first big show coming up in a couple weeks, there's a lot that can be said about Carmelo Hayes as North American champion. You guys know he's been champion for about a couple of months now, ever since he defeated his former best friend Isaiah Swerve Scott to win the title via the Breakout Tournament contract. And with Trick Williams backing him up, there's one question that remains. Who should challenge Carmelo Hayes for the NXT North American title? There's a long list of talent that could be potential candidates, for Carmelo. There's Andre, and I'm actually reading the superstars list off of WWE.com. Big shout out, no copyrights, of course. You guys know how this works with the algorithm. So going in alphabetical order, because that's how they do it, for some weird reason. You have there's Andre Chase, there's Boa, Braun Breaker, who's going after the NXT title, so he's completely out of the question. Brooks Jensen, Brutus Creed, Cameron Grimes, Danny Burch. Apparently Burch is still in there, but I think he got released from his contract, if I remember right. I think I talked about that a while back. Dante Chen, Dexter Lumis, Fabian Eichner, Duke Hudson, Grayson Waller, Hachiman, Harlan, James Drake, Joaquin Wilde, Joe Gacy, Josh Briggs, Julius Creed, Kushida, LA Knight. I know that Malcolm Bivens is on here, but he's not on the active roster as a performer. You have Marcel Barthel. You've got Nash Carter. You've got Odyssey Jones, Pete Dunne, Roderick Strong, Raul Mendoza, Samoa Joe, Santos Escobar, Sarav, who apparently is still signed to NXT. I don't know how. Tony D'Angelo, Tommaso Ciampa, who's the NXT champion. Timothy Thatcher, who's been out with an injury, I think for the last few months, actually. Solo Sikoa, obviously Trick Williams himself, Von Wagner, Zach Gibson, and Zion Quinn. So if you look at the roster, that's a hell of a roster when you think about it. But there's also stars from NXT UK that could also be potential candidates to face Carmelo Hayes for the titles. A pretty interesting list. It's a pretty big list. You've got A-Kid, you've got Ashton Smith, Bomber Dave Massive, Ilya Dragunov, who's the NXT UK champion, Flash Morgan Webster, Eddie Dennis, Jack Stars, you got Joe Coffey, Lewis Howley of Pretty Deadly, Kenny Williams, Joseph Connors. Apparently Joseph Connors has been released of his contract with NXT UK, so I believe he's now a free agent, and he's now able to go pretty much anywhere he desires. So I guess that explains why Ginny said that his services were no longer required. Then of course you have Jordan Devlin, you got Mark Andrews, Mark Coffey, Nathan Fraser, Oliver Carter, Noam Dar, who's the NXT UK Heritage Cup champion, Primate, Rampage Brown, Rohan Raja, Shaw Samuel, Saxon Huxley, Sam Stoker of Pretty Deadly, Sam Gradwell, T-Bone, Teo-Man, Trent Seven, Tyler Bay, who are now both the NXT UK Tag Team Champions, which congrats is in order to them, Wolfgang, Wild Boar, and Walter. So there's a good list of superstars who could be potential candidates for a shot at the NXT UK, or rather the NXT North American title. But I feel like I believe truly the top 3 that should go after the title, I would have to say Santos Escobar, Zion Quinn, and this might be this might be crazy, but definitely Pete Dunne. The reason why I believe those 3, Zion Quinn, he is, I believe they refer to him as Samoan Australian, because they build him from Australia, but he also has a bunch of Samoan tattoos on his right on his right pec and most of his right arm. So you could tell that he is from that he is Samoan. You could tell so easily, but it's hard to tell that he's from that he was from Australia. You couldn't even tell. Crazy enough, but Zion Quinn is such an incredible performer. His striking ability is what made him arguably the most dangerous superstar on the roster today. As does Santos Escobar. People forget that he was NXT Cruiserweight Champion for pretty much most of 2020, and for the first quarter of 2021. Crazy enough. So about a year. So I would say about a year, almost a year. Whereas opposed to Jordan Devlin, he was champion for a year and a half. Now you guys are wondering, why were they both champion? Well, excuse me. Well, people forget that at a pay-per-view called Worlds Collide in 2020, Jordan Devlin, I can actually go back onto my book because I actually have it. If I remember correctly, let's see. At Worlds Collide, Jordan Devlin defeated Angel Garza, Travis Banks, and Isaiah Swerve Scott. Yes, this was back when Travis Banks was still with WWE, as was Swerve, and he actually pinned. I believe he pinned Swerve, if I remember right. Let's see. Yes, he actually did. He pinned Scott with his finishing move that he calls Devlin's Side to win the Cruiserweight title. Hence, he became champion for quite a while. Because of the pandemic, and because of the fact that Jordan Devlin was staying in the UK, he couldn't defend the title here in the States. So NXT management thought, okay, we'll have a tournament to crown a interim champion. But they ended up changing it to just the NXT Cruiserweight title, thinking that, oh, we forgot about Jordan Devlin. I sure as hell didn't forget about Jordan Devlin. I know you guys did not forget about Jordan Devlin, and that was what sparked the rivalry. It was just insane. It was insane. That being said, with that fact, the ruthlessness of Santos Escobar could potentially put him in line for a shot at the North American title. But you also got Pete Dunne as well. And the reason why I chose Pete Dunne also is because people forget that he's the second longest reigning NXT UK champion in history. He's a former NXT Tag Team champion. He's a Dusty Cup winner alongside Riddle, of all people, if you can still believe that. But he was also one of the founding fathers of none other than NXT UK. So something like that could come up. It could. it's possible that Pete Dunne could face Carmelo, but there's also another person that could also be next in line for the title, and it definitely has to be Tony D'Angelo for a couple of reasons. One is because of the fact that Dunne and D'Angelo are still feuding. They're still in a rivalry, and tomorrow night on NXT, apparently the rivalry will come ahead as they battle each other one-on-one. But another thing, too, is that he became one of the winners of War Games just a couple weeks ago. And that's what sparked the rivalry between Team Black and Gold and Team 2.0, was the fact that you have you have guys like Johnny Gargano, you've got guys like Tommaso Ciampa, you've got guys like LA Knight, and you also have guys like Pete Dunne who have been in NXT for a long time, and guys like Tony D'Angelo, guys like where was that? I just saw guys like Grayson Waller, guys like Carmelo Hayes, guys like Braun Breaker. They had enough. But funny enough, you guys know, between Breaker, Hayes, Waller, and D'Angelo, Braun Breaker is the only one of the four that has a ton of respect for Team Black and Gold. That right there is a true man of honor, a true man of respect. Whereas opposed to Carmelo Hayes, he just doesn't give a damn. He just doesn't give a damn. And as far as Grayson Waller goes, he's only in NXT for views. So why is he even here? Seriously, why is he even here? But all in all, those are the three that I could definitely see challenging Hayes for the title. But if I had to pick one, hands down, I would say Santos Escobar. And Santos Escobar, if there was one man who could take the title off of Carmelo Hayes, it's definitely Santos Escobar. But as far as who from NXT UK, that's kind of a hard one to disperse. But I truly believe that it has to be It has to be Teal-Man. It's got to be Teal-Man, because if Teal-Man were to jump ship from NXT UK to NXT here in the States, I know for a fact that Teal-Man can push Carmelo Hayes to the limit, and with the fact that he's got Charlie Dempsey and Rohan Raja in his corner, not even Trick Williams would be able to stop him, which is crazy. But again, I truly believe that between Teal-Man and Santos Escobar, between those two, I feel like that's kind of a hard one because Teal-Man is a hell of a dude. If you guys watch NXT UK every Thursday on Peacock, no copyrights, shout outs to Peacock. You all know how it works with the algorithm. But again, if you guys watch NXT UK on Peacock every Thursday, Teal-Man is one nasty performer. He is as dangerous as they come. And there are a lot of superstars who are dangerous both alone and in tag teams. A-Kid, Dave Massive, Ilya Dragunov. He's still much of a hard ass. Even without the context, when he debuted in NXT UK, he had the context and everything. But now with Walter and Rampage Brown in his rearview mirror, and with the fact that he has to deal with Jordan Devlin, Dragunov is now going to be 10 times more dangerous than ever before. Even Joe Coffey's pretty dangerous in the ring, and as is Kenny Williams, even though he's, as he calls himself, the scum of the earth, the cockroach, if you will. He's still pretty dangerous, but all in all, I think Teal-Man and Santos Escobar should be the ones to take the title, to take the take the North American title off of Carmelo Hayes because with Santos Escobar, he's got Legado del Fantasma backing him up. Tio Man's got D Familia. Is it D Familia? I think it's D Familia. Backing him up. Charlie Dempsey and also Rohan Raja. But if you were to look at this from a veteran's perspective, as far as like who has the upper hand, as far as experience, you would obviously have to say Santos Escobar, because he's been in NXT for well over a year. Tio Man has only been in NXT UK just this year. In fact, I think it was back in July, if I remember right. I think it was back in July that he signed with NXT UK. So he hasn't been around for long, but he has been pretty dominant, I will say. But between the two, I gotta go with Santos Escobar just because of the experience factor, and also he is right now currently the biggest threat to Carmelo's reign as champion. Not just because of the fact that he's a former cruiserweight champion, but also because that he's a seasoned veteran, meaning he's traveled the world, he's honed his craft. Carmelo Hayes, he's only been in the wrestling industry for a cup of coffee, of all things, So I could definitely see Santos Escobar taking the title off of Carmelo Hayes. But that brings me to the question of the day: who do you guys think should face Carmelo Hayes for the NXT North American title? Let me know in the comments below, and that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel, you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue, which get posted every Monday. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All the links will be down in the description below. And if you guys have any family you want to send me and want me to open up on the channel, my address will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.